Happy Halloween!
Happy
James.
Halloween!
Hi, everybody!
Hey, everybody. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Welcome to
Halloween.
the universe, and boy, are we have a podcast for you today.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we both dressed appropriately.
It's our Halloween show, kind of. Yeah.
Yes.
It's what, in a couple of days. It's Friday, isn't it?
Yes,
Friday.
it is.
So this whole week is our Halloween time.
Oh, it is. And James, I love your costume.
You like my costume?
I
Anyone know
love
what
it.
this is?
Would anybody like
I'm
to
sure
take
people
a
probably the
guess?
same costume. I should probably show the whole costume.
Yeah,
shouldn't I?
stand up and show the whole costume.
All right,
It's
there
a
you go.
good one, everybody.
It's a good one.
That's great. There you go. Tell everybody what it is.
I'm a traffic cone.
Short for parking monitor. Don't park
Okay.
here.
And we see them every day, at least where I live in San Diego. Every day there's all these, construction, detour. And I'm like, I like that.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
And what are you, Kelly? It looks like a witch who's had a little problem, who went down the wrong alleyway.
I did. I went down the wrong alleyway in
Crashed into
Target.
something.
I'm a spider witch.
You're
I'm
a spider witch.
witch. Exactly.
It looks like
With-
webs.
Don't forget, it is webs. I've got my special spider cloth on.
Oh,
Yeah,
do you?
I
Let me
do.
see. I
See,
can't.
It's,
Oh,
it's my special one. And I
that's great.
also have this that you gave me, the
The
special
magic
wand.
wand. from
You bought
Salem,
this for me
Massachusetts.
and Mavis
And Mavis Patella. Yes.
in Salem.
Yes, I was there with Tony Stockwell many years ago, and we went to we did a workshop there, and then we found the Harry Potter store. We got the wands for you and Mavis.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And I always think of Mavis when I see it and when I use it.
And Mavis, those who don't know, Mavis is a good friend of ours who was passed,
Yeah.
and she used to talk like that. That was Mavis Patella, and she
Yes.
was a very well-known teacher of mediumship.
Very respected.
Well-respected medium in the UK.
Yeah.
And so we have good memories and good experiences with Mavis in our lifetime. She comes through a lot, doesn't she, Kelly?
She comes through a lot, and I can tell everybody that I had a really interesting experience the other day with the veil is thinning, and James and I are going to talk about the veil.
Developing the thinnest it is
thinning.
the whole year. That's right.
Oh my gosh. So everybody pay attention to your dreams, because your loved ones are active right now. Whether you think they are or they're not, they are. So pay attention, because my mother came to me again last week. And she said, and James, I had to call and tell you right away because it was so extraordinary for me. She came through and she said, it was while I was dreaming. And she said, Kelly, I want to tell you that when a soul passes over, if they've been in therapy, there's often somebody, not even if they've been in therapy, but there's after they do a life review, that there's some work that they still want to process. And my mother said that she works with a lot of patients helping process their lives. And she said, on top of that, she said she teaches a class. And I thought this was fascinating. She teaches a class on the other side for souls that really want to help their loved ones now. So for instance, if the souls now on earth are stuck, like stuck seems to be a theme, James. If they're stuck in their traumas or their belief systems of their parents, or their, I'm not whatever enough, or my father did this and my mother did this. And if they're stuck, my mother teaches a class to help the souls on the other side work with their loved ones here to help them, to move them from being stuck. And then she said further, James, she said that Mavis was teaching a class on helping with teaching souls to help the energy on earth, working with these souls to help with the energy on earth at this time.
Wow. And as you say that, I got this in my head, a band of beings around the earth, like a band, a band. of beings.
Yes, yes.
It's very true. Your mom, yeah. Tell us more about your mom. The
Well, I'll
great
tell you another thing that happened too, because this involves you, James, as what happened over the weekend, everybody. This was pretty amazing. I went to Dallas over the weekend to see my grandchildren, and we went to the Arboretum in Dallas. And if you haven't been, if you're in that area, it's extraordinary. They had a pumpkin extravaganza, just amazing things.
Wow.
100,000 pumpkins or something. It was amazing. But the theme of all themes at this Arboretum was spirit guides. Now, how could that be? That was the theme in Dallas.
I love it.
So I got my picture taken with my grandkids. It was a photo op, and it was just perfect. And the three of us, my two grandkids and me, we were, had this great picture taken in front of a spirit guide. So I sent this to James. It was early in the morning, James. It was like your time, like 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. So I sent the picture to James. And then right after the picture.
And you didn't tell me it was called Spirit Guide or anything.
I didn't tell you anything.
It was a thing.
I didn't tell you anything. I just thought it was a really sweet picture. And I thought, I'm going to send it to you and you'll get a kick out of this. So at that exact moment, my grandson, August, walks over. And I know he's not supposed to, but he picked a little flower. And he handed it to me and he said, "This is in memory of Nana Lou," which is my mother. Now, my mom died when August was 9 months old, so he didn't not know her. We were not talking about her whatsoever. And I said, "August, what made you think of Nana Lou at that moment?" And this is what he said. "I don't know. She just popped into my mind. She popped into my mind." So 2 hours goes by. James looks at the picture I sent him. Without
not knowing any of this about what he said.
Any of this.
Yeah.
And James says to me, your mom is standing right next to you.
On your right side.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was right there. Bright.
It was extraordinary. You want to talk about great evidence there. That was extraordinary, James.
She was bright. It's so funny, as I get older, as time goes by, as things, get more, I'm just gonna say more surrendering. I live in the woods. Basically, I'm in the woods and I'm with nature all the time. And it's really interesting because I'm only doing like a group reading like once a month or twice a month. And that's really it. But I'm getting much more aware, sensitive. And when you open up your mind to certain things, certain beliefs, certain theories, whatever, and read a lot and just question and curious about everything, you open up. And I think that is part of it, that I'm surrendering. I have that curiosity, that art of discovery. I want to see the invisible. I want to see the invisible. And as a kid, I always wanted to see the invisible. I always wanted to see what was beyond the stars. And there's always a sense of reaching up. And when your mom, I remember there was such a bright luminosity next to you. And I saw her hair and I saw her shape. And it was just, it's hard to describe because it's so much not in human terms, right? And they often describe their world over there and the colors and the visuals. They can't describe it in human terms because it goes so beyond. We don't have the descriptions here. But the light, we're all made of light, right? We're all made of light. And the more loving we are, the brighter that light is. And I now, and like when someone will say to you something like that, like say, we're all light. Just that statement, we're all light, makes you take that in and start to feel that, we're all light. So then when I look at people, I start thinking, what light are they? What color is that light? So that starts to, and that opens up the mind. That I think the mind is so beyond us. It's part of the soul. And I think that there are all these little places of the mind, roads, pathways, if you will, that when someone says something, you do something, you experience something, it opens up that little portal. It opens up that door for you to have maybe that experience.
Yes.
And that's really what it is. It's that knowingness. It's that, and you get there by discovering, by having that curiosity, that art of discovery, not being judgmental, not being limited in the mind, being free mind, open-minded. Open-minded means open-minded, open up to all the different ways that exist out there. And so that's what I believe. And I think I mentioned you last week. We talked about the YouTube video I saw, which I mentioned the name again. It was called The Nature of Reality. And it was a quantum physicist and a Buddhist scholar discuss it. And it was just mind-blowing for me. And
it was amazing. Mind-blowing for me too.
Mind-blowing. And just opened up the whole that pathways. And I just know more and more and more as I live that that's the world. This is just our temporary shell here. Really, this human part of us is so temporary and so small compared to everything else that exists out there. And we just got to keep on remembering who we are,
Well, and you said something very important. You said even by just saying the light or something, anything spiritual like that, it opens a portal.
It opens a portal.
Exactly. And then the limited belief is opened. And then that gives you more of an opportunity to have an experience like with my grandson. He wasn't thinking about any of it. And so if you have an open mind, he's very open-minded, he's 8, and that just popped in. And I think souls at this time, James, at this particular time, are going to be popping in, making pop-ins. And so if you all of a sudden haven't thought of somebody in forever, and all of a sudden they just pop in, that's a pop-in. Pay attention. That soul's around you.
It's really important to it. I want to tell everybody too, to remind them this, that, your 8-year-old grandson, when you have people, parents, adults around that child who encourage that opening, encourage the imagination. Yes. What do you sense? What do you feel? And don't limit their belief, but open them up and have them discover, wow, they can grow and expand. And that's, I think, what we're supposed to be doing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I brought my grandson, I brought them both actually, a special bracelet with so it's a Pedialyte. I forget the exact, Lepidolite. That's what it was. Lepidolite. Lepidolite is all about helping with keeping calm, keeping calm. So I gave them both these bracelets, and I said, "Oh, August, this is for keeping calm. So if you get real anxious or whatever, just pop this bracelet on, and it'll be very calming." And he, as I handed it to him, he said, "Gigi, I can feel the energy from here. I can feel the energy." So I started talking to them this way when they were little.
I remember there was another time we went to a crystal and he said something about energy when he was like 4 years old. Something.
Yes. Oh yeah. I think it's really important.
So let's go back to what we talked about, because we know that this time of the year, everyone has the veil being the thinnest it is. And of course, in this time of year, well, in this northern hemisphere, it's known as autumn or the fall, but it's the opposite down in the southern hemisphere, right? Mm-hmm. But in this time, if we will, for us, I guess it's the time of, I don't know, would you say end of a season? Death is a big part of that, right?
Well, death is a big part of it, but there are spiritual origins of Halloween, actually, and Celtic background, right? Yeah, it's a Celtic background. It's from Samhain. It's Samhain. Samhain.
I don't look at the sucks. I know you're going to, being the Virgo you are, you're going to research this before our show. So
I do. I do a little research, and then I lost it, and then I had to find it again. But it's one of those times.
But I know a lot of this. I mean, we've done
this before.
The Celtic background, and
Celtic background, it marks the end of the harvest, which I can attest right now because I live on a farm. It really is the end of the harvest, and it's the start of winter. It's the start of the fall.
Kellee, before you go on, hold on. Before you go on, so the end of harvest. I'm just getting this mind stuff going on. So at the end of the harvest, would it be natural then? I don't know if this makes sense or not. Didn't they also pray to the gods and goddesses at the end of that harvest to have a better harvest next year, or they'd get plentiful, and they'd pray?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
They'd have altars to the gods as well, right?
In fact, altars are a big part of this as we get into Halloween and then All Saints Day. Altars were very important. Day of the Dead, very important. In honoring our deceased loved ones through feasts, James, and through offerings. Oh yeah, that's a big one here.
Yeah, then we give out a lot of these food. And what is that thing called, Kellee, when they have we grew up with Thanksgiving, they have a basket with lots of fruits.
Oh yeah. That horn of plenty.
Horn of plenty. So that would be for also symbolic, bringing next year's harvest even plentiful, even more and more.
Yes.
I think it was also thanking the gods for what you've bestowed on us this past season. And I think also, naturally speaking, it's a longer, right? The days are longer, right? Or the
days are shorter. Days are shorter.
So
nights are longer.
Right? We go into the darkness.
Go into the darkness where it is easier to see a figure actually in the
dark.
So
let me go in with the darkness with you for a second.
Okay. I'm all ready.
When I was thinking about this today, I was thinking about our podcast, and I was thinking, well, this is very interesting because the veil is thinner, but the cycle of life and death. And death, to me, there is no death. It's just a change, right? It's a trend. There is no such thing as death. It's a change. But let's say the darkness, so the nights are darker. In mediumship, we develop a physical mediumship. We develop more in the dark, in the nighttime. And really, I remember very beginning physical mediums, they used to sit around at the end of dinner and they sit by the fireside with the ambers, the red light, the ambers, and that's all they would sit there. And that's how they developed. And the spirit people would use that, and they'd use a substance called ectoplasm that comes out of the medium's ears, nose, mouth, and they'd create this like voice box. They could speak through it, or they'd materialize, and they would do it in the darkness. So the darkness is definitely transformation. And when I say the thinnest of the veil, it's kind of like because we're open to those other, I think our senses are more open as well. I think physically, spiritually, we're more aware as well.
I also think that more people tend to pass in November and December.
Interesting.
Yes, because the harvest is complete. It's almost like they've worked through spring, through summer. Their bodies are ready to go.
So true. Winter time. Yeah.
Winter, you think of that.
Oh, I definitely do. I definitely, I know people, my whole family's gone in the winter time.
Mine too. Yeah.
Makes sense. It seems very natural, doesn't it?
It's more of a natural state.
Yeah. So in this acceptance, if you will, the veil is thinner. So knowing that intellectually, it's a great way to open up a curious mind. So the veil is thin. So now that I know the veil is thin, how can I begin to become more aware of the spirit around me? And I would say just become aware that you're that beautiful mind space, and the spirit people will step into that space, right? They step in there, whether it's a physical stepping in or mentally, they'll send a thought telepathically from their mind into your mind. And they will superimpose themselves upon your mind. So suddenly you feel their personality. You feel a memory of them. You feel them all of a sudden, like you didn't felt anything. So
out of the blue, all of a sudden.
Out of the blue. And it'll happen more now this time of the year. And maybe it's because it's darker earlier. It's, it's that whole thing. Yeah. But it's so true. You can get much more. I don't know. I think it's just, the veil is thinner, but we're more open to it, more aware of it. And there might be some natural things that happen in the seasons, of course, because of the change of seasons. So
would you say that if you were going to start cultivating mediumship, this is a good time for that?
Yeah, now's the time. Yeah. Now's the time to begin. And I think that if you do it with the right curiosity, and you know what, we were kids, we used to get blindfolded, pin the tail on the donkey, right? What is
You're
that?
Right.
You have to use your intuition to get where's the tail going to be. Yep. As young kids, we had to use our intuition blindfolded to find out where we're going to go. So the darkness allows those senses to become keen. You see,
right. Yeah. That is so true. I forgot about that.
Right, we remind you.
Yeah, no, I love that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, and don't forget, November 2nd is daylight savings time, and that is also falls on Day of the Dead. So it'll really be darker.
I got this thing, Kellee, which I did print this out. So it was really interesting. A time of death in nature, right? A time of death in nature. As the days grow shorter, crops die and leaves fall. The natural world visibly withdraws its life force. The physical symbolism is believed to correspond with a spiritual transition, making the concept of death and the spirit world feel closer.
Yeah, wow. It's true, though.
It's so natural. It's so true.
It's natural.
The life has all beginnings and endings. I said to some people today, everything is changing, and we're cleaning things, moving things around the house, whatever. They said, "Oh, I'm sorry to put that there." I said, "That's all right. It's okay. You can move that over there." Change is all the time. Change is constant. So in our life, change is constant, and there's no death that they live on into a glorious world, glorious worlds. It's very interesting. In that show, we talked about the nature reality. One of the terms, which I love and I'll use forever now, is they talk about the different realms that exist, in the spiritual realms, those different spaces and places, like your mom teaching, and there are a lot of teachers and lots of works over there, and museums and schools and things we don't even know about. And they talk about the different realms that exist. And they call this physical world the realm of form.
The realm of form.
I love that. I think that really describes it well. So you kind of have these things in your mind and create things on the other side before you come into this incarnation, and you prepare for what you're going to do, and in the realm over there, and you become expertise and learn things that'll help you, aspects that'll help you for this upcoming lifetime. And when you come back, you use all of those things you've learned, come back to the physical earth, and this is a place that you use them.
Yes.
The form of reality. Yeah. this form of reality. Yes, it's really interesting.
Yes.
Makes
Oh my,
sense to me.
totally makes
Right.
sense here. That
Yeah.
that so we come to Earth to use form,
And we're in form. We're in
and
physical form.
inform.
And that's
And
the
now,
only.
right now, you're in a parking cone form.
I'm in a parking cone form, but
Yeah.
I'm there and I'm here. Then I'm in several places at once. I'm in the car that's driving around the cone. I'm the traffic person saying, go to the left. Isn't it interesting? So one thing they talk about, which I love too, is, you have 360-degree vision all around. When, here in the physical dimension, we just see straight on. But you leave the body, you have a 360 degrees, everything going on around you. And everyone's thoughts, people's thoughts about you and prayers. And it's very different. It's a multi-cosmic kind of experience all at once, which is hard for us down here to fully understand that.
Yeah.
But we're so much more than just this physical vibration.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that if you keep that sense of amusement and joy, that's part of our soul's voice, that love and that joy. And once you know that and you have that awareness, I don't know, it's hard not to be happy. You can be sad too. You're part of the human experience.
It's so true. It's so true.
We should be happy and joyful. That's who we are innately, if you will.
Yeah. James, I think that Halloween isn't just about the spirits that join us, that visit us. I think what Halloween is also, for me, is like awakening that spirit within us. Really,
transformation, isn't it? It's really about transformation.
It's all about transformation, and this is an incredible time for transformation.
Well, when you sit in the dark, let's say, it's a really great time for you to go within and start really learning, going within, question what's going on in your life, what things are important to you, their priorities, your values. It's a perfect time, divinely created, for us to go within and to see where we're at, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely. I love this comment. This is from Renee. She says, I love how the Swedenborg spoke about the correspondence of everything in the physical world has a spiritual representation, and that the physical being is a metaphor for the spiritual teaching.
It's so true, Renee. So true. Good to see you again, Renee. And Renee, there was a man that, Kellee, you might know, he was a really cute guy, blonde hair. Now I saw him the other night, I was like, is that the same guy? He's got a little hair. Fine. Beautiful blue, crystal blue eyes. Expert in Swedenborg. And I love Swedenborg. I used to read his stuff years and years ago, but it's so true. I just love that. I love, Ernest Holmes, Manly Palmer, all of them.
And in fact, this would be a great time to do spiritual reading. Excellent for that.
Great time. And I don't, maybe go back to a time in your life when you were, I don't know, pick an age, 10, 9. I mean, I'm doing it now a lot because I'm writing my autobiography, which I'm going to do more of when I get my writer's course going. But I'm starting, it's really interesting to bring me back when I'm a young kid. And wow, when you start doing that. So, during this time, this Halloween, this time, it's good to go back and pick a day out or age or an event that happened when you were a kid. Good, better, and different. I picked out when I was selling magazine subscriptions for my Catholic school. That's what I picked out.
I bet you did really well.
No, I didn't really. I didn't do it at all because I didn't want to do it. And I opened the chapter and then he says, I don't want any, get away. And that's how the chapter opens up. But then I started looking at a squirrel, and a squirrel had a nut in its hand, and it's paused, and it went all the way up the tree. And I was like, and I remember that from just going to that point.
Wow.
And that opened up a whole way. And I remember myself at that age, and I try to see how am I different then than where I am right now. And everybody should try that, because you'll really have some good insights, and you'll see where you put your importance in life. What was important to you, and why was it important? Was it taught to you from your parents or teachers, or did you have to fit into other people, or were you one of those people that felt they never fit in, or were shy or outgoing? It's a good way to reflect and you go within, to pick one time.
Right. Oh my gosh. James, question here is, if we send thoughts out in our mind, will the spirits pick it up?
Yeah, they're just right here. Send it out. They read your thoughts. It's you are who you are. You are thought. You're light, right? So every thought has an energy to it. Every thought has a color to it. Every thought has a figure. How we describe it, like a shape, let's say. Yeah. So when you think of that shape goes into your auric field, it goes in and then when you have someone's name attached to a thought about someone, it goes directly to that person. So they see it and they also receive it. So that's normal there. When you pass to the spirit world, you don't see each other like they really don't need to speak, because you see the person in front of you based upon their light, their colors. Their character is evident, is obvious by the colors that they emanate. And if they were a very difficult person, not a good person in the earth world, and we pass to those higher worlds, you'll see that right in front of you. You'll see that type of character. Oh, they were this way. It's sad, but because their light is dull, right? Not as bright as it could be. And the sad thing is, you tend then to see the potential of that spirit. And they didn't use or utilize certain aspects of themselves in that lifetime. And for whatever reason, it is what it is. But you can see the potential of the colors and the lights. It's almost like you can see someone at a 25 watt when they really could have been 150 watt.
Well, it's just like on Earth now. You can see somebody and know their potential. And often what happens is. We can. I mean, we can look and we'll say, "Oh my goodness," we just have to.
Most people can't, Kelly. Most people don't see that. I mean, most people, when they meet with somebody, they see the superficial part of them, and that's kind of all they've been taught to see. But again, if we start looking at them as a light, and what color is that light, and go into it, that really will start opening everybody up. It's a good.
And that's opening a portal.
And that's opening a portal. Yeah. And it's a great time to do it this time of autumn, the fall here, this time of year. Yeah. It's very good.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I want to talk one thing here.
Sure.
Another thing which is very interesting, we call the witching hour, which I thought was an interesting term.
Let's talk about that.
The twilight of the year. So the twilight of their, similar to witching hour or sunrise and sunset, are considered times what is it? Very important times of the day, right? Remember you said Samhain, S-A-M?
Yes.
Yeah. That was the ritual, right? Samhain.
Right. Samhain.
Samhain, as was used as the twilight of the year. And this made a particularly potent time for divination and spiritual insights.
There you go.
And that was where the witching hour came from. So it's that time that to go inside, the insight, the inner knowing. So that's really want to go. Not only is it time for you to connect with a spirit, but it's really time for you to connect with your own soul, your own self.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there we are.
Oh my gosh. And it's funny, James, that All Saints Day was a Christian feast day. The Christians had to, come up with something. So
wasn't it pagan, and then they made it into Christian? They had to grab it because it was so popular. And very natural, very earthy.
And by the way, the word hallow for Halloween means holy. Did you know that?
Yeah, holy.
Yeah. Holy.
Eve.
Yeah. So instead of the medieval celebration.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know paganism is my thing too. I'm getting all these texts. Sorry. Paganism, I've been involved with that for many years, at lifetimes. I think as you have, nature, religions, and all that. Yeah. Wicca, all that's nature, religion. I feel so much more connected to that than man-made religions like I go Catholic and Christian. And very interesting. I was at the gym today, and my trainer said something about you should join us. We're doing Jacked Up for Jesus.
Oh boy.
I'm like, what? And I said,
Jacked Up for Jesus.
I think he means like body.
I know what he means.
And I said, who's that?
Oh my gosh. But I love this. Scott Hub says, I believe you guys said you don't like watching horror movies. And I was wondering why, because I used to really like watching them, but now I try not to. Scott, when I was young, I barely could watch them, but because it was too traumatizing for me, I think. What do you think, James?
Well,
with horror films.
Well, you're talking to me. I have all my planets in the 8th house, 8th and 12th house. So it's death.
Me too.
It's all about death.
Yeah.
So I used to like horror. I wasn't a big over the top horror fan. A good friend of mine, Kelly, who's watching this. Kelly Dennis she's an expert, and her birthday was the 23rd.
Happy birthday, Kelly.
Yeah, and very into horror and every kind of horror there is, and I tend to like, and it sounds really kind of strange, but I find true crime. I find, wow, and I find the dead body, the murders, the reality of it. I love to watch those cop shows. I love to watch like the psychological aspect. And of
Oh.
course, I'm always thinking of you because like, what do you say about this person?
And I don't want to watch any of it.
Psychopath? Is that?
Yes,
Figure
I'll
it out.
explain it later. Yes.
Because, but I find it fascinating the way the brain works and the way people, I don't know, it's just so wild to me that actually and it's so different than, and wear a different cap, right? It's so different than the spiritual work I do. There's just nothing really to do with it. It just is like, I'm fascinated by humans, human experience, human behavior, I guess it would be, it's just so.
But you know what? The other thing is, James, as a medium, you could probably help with true crime situations where I would not be a medium.
I used to work with the FBI all the time. I used to do crime. I did. I saw several things. My movie, the original with Ted Danson, the movie based on my first book, Talking to Heaven. There's a scene in the movie. Well, it's part of the movie where they bury the kid. The kid's buried, and that came from my experience with the FBI. So I worked with a little girl that was buried, and it wasn't buried alive, but it was a little girl that was missing in New Orleans. And I remember I saw it very clearly. There was a man driving a car. It was a Chevrolet, and I remember he had a tire iron, and he hit this girl in the passenger seat. And it was one of those seats. There was one seat in those days, and he hit her, and he buried her in New Orleans in the muck in the swamps. And we actually used that experience of that movie. But it was, I used to work with a lot of that and arsons and fires.
Well, let me ask you this. On a case like that, where that has happened, do you personally, has that soul ever just shown up to you and said thank you to you?
A lot of times I've had that.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I've had that happen. And it's always when I'm not, like, well, most of us, we're going to take a shower or reading a book or driving. Also, you get a spirit come to you, and they've come to me and they've said, thank you for helping me, or thanks for helping my family or my mom, or thank you. And I've had police people coming in, detectives who've passed and said, thank you for that. And yeah, I've not that all the time, but I could say a handful without a doubt. Kids, I used to help a lot of kids missing, a lot of different things. I remember I did some readings, demonstration once, and I brought through kid that died in a gangland shooting. I did a bunch of those, and his sister, I think, was in the audience, and we found out who did it and all that sort of thing, and it made sense. It all came out, and I did several of those, and yeah, the spirit will come to and say thank you. But you probably have it too with when we do readings later on. We get the spirit coming through and say, thank you so much.
Yes.
I had just recently, last week, I did 10 people and my group I do. And I can tell you, I brought them information and going on there. And I'm very aware now of all the different beings that are around me. When I'm reading one person, all their family shows up. They want to hear from one person, but the whole family is there. And they all just are. It's funny, at the end of the message, I'm getting, thank you. One lady kissed my head. She went, thank you, James. I heard it so clearly. I was aware of it. I get a lot of that. I get a lot of appreciation of that. And then it'll be maybe hours later playing with my dog, and also get a band again, a group of them. And they say, thank you for helping us over here. Thank you for helping us over here. We didn't know what was going on, but we really appreciate it now. We didn't know how to communicate. We didn't know how to do that, but you showed us, you helped us show. And I never take it as personally. I'm just part of the whole machine of it all happening. But they said, and it's true. And we should realize that what we do down here teaches them in the spirit world. Just because people pass over doesn't mean they know the secrets of the universe or know how to do certain things or how to communicate. A lot of them don't know how to communicate. So when, we as mediums work, it's difficult because they don't know the way to, if you will, and make it really simple, to put together a thought, to put together memory, and put all the energy and send it to the mind, from their mind to the medium's mind. They don't know how to do that, and it's very much like sound waves, right? So there's an ebb and a flow, up and a down, and it's or like a radio signal. They've got to get in a certain bandwidth. Right?
Yes.
The bandwidth of the receiving medium, and they have to slow down their thoughts, vibrations so much to a point where they can send that thought into the mind of that medium at a certain bandwidth, which is slow when it comes to us and human. And it's almost like that's how we get it. So that's when I'm working in my school and I talk about developing people, you're working with developing your soul self. So your soul has to expand. And if you can open up that soul to many, many levels, if you will, or the bandwidth, open up that bandwidth of your soul, then it's easier to get more spirits to you, see, and the communication's easier.
I have to tell you, I had a wild experience yesterday that I didn't mention to you. Unbelievable, James. This is a good one.
I knew it, but I didn't want to say anything. No, I'm just joking.
Okay. So do you remember like 3 years ago, I was at a restaurant in Madison, Wisconsin. I was eating dinner at a restaurant and a man behind me died while I was eating dinner.
Forgive me, Kelly. I don't remember this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I remember it very well.
I believe you, but
yeah, it was a man had a heart attack. And
you were sitting at a restaurant for lunch?
No, dinner. I was with my old assistant, Carissa, and my niece, Mary.
Were you in a booth or a table or what?
We were at a table, and then there was a booth behind me, and all the dishes fell. And I turned around, and this man had just succumbed. Wow. Right. It was really traumatizing. So we left the restaurant, never to attend the restaurant again, never to go to that restaurant again. And it had been my favorite restaurant. Well, last night.
Wait. Why didn't you want to go back to that restaurant again?
It was too traumatic. It was really traumatic. I mean, this guy died literally in front of us, and it was really traumatic. So yesterday, Don and I were driving, and I said, for some reason, I just felt like this. Let's go to that restaurant again.
Yeah.
And he said, you really want to go? And I go, yeah, I do. They actually have delicious food. I said, it's okay. I'll be okay. So we go to the restaurant. I forgot what room it was in, right? There's a lot of rooms in this restaurant, and I forgot what room it was in. Anyway, we sit down and we have this lovely dinner, and all of a sudden I could feel this man's presence literally saying to me, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to try, like literally saying this over and over to me. I said to Don, I have to go now. We have to go now. And he said, all right. So we got up and we left, and I turned around, and that was the table. It was right there. I didn't realize it. And he was really letting me know that he was like, I think he just was sorry. He recognized me from me being there. Not that he stays in that restaurant, not at all. But I think it was just that timing of that and the energy of the veil that's so thin.
You think, Kelly?
Yeah, you think? Yeah.
Or Kelly, do you think he kind of inspired you in your mind to go to that restaurant?
Oh,
planted that idea,
James.
Planted that idea, right? Totally.
Okay, so wait, somebody's asking me what restaurant it was. It was called I'll tell you, caller, be happy, since you went to university, you went to Madison. It is called the Tornado Room. The Tornado Room. But I think he did inspire me to go to that restaurant.
Totally he did. Oh yeah, totally.
Because even John said, you what? You want to go what?
He had to help with your healing, Kel.
And then that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very interesting right now. We're talking about the veil being thinner, and it's almost as if you look into the surface of water, and we have scrying, which is when you can look and you see the ripples in the water, and all of a sudden your clairvoyance opens up. It's so interesting that I've lately been doing this, which has been really fun, because it was fun. Imagination, different discovery in different ways. So I sometimes will imagine that I'm walking through, like I'm behind a waterfall, and there's water all around me, and I try to look and see what's on the other side of that waterfall. And I've been doing that, and I've had some pretty incredible stuff the past 2 or 3 days. And I saw my brother, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm talking to his son, and it was just so weird. And it happens, and you become aware of. I've had a lot of people. You have to remember that we go to that level when we pass at night. When we go to sleep, we go over there. So it's a continuation. It's just we're just bogged down by this physical self, but your soul knows, your soul recognizes. So allow your soul to experience it, and don't limit it. Don't think, this can't happen, or judge it. Judgment blocks us so much, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Totally.
Negativity blocks us. Bad thoughts block us. Fear blocks us.
And then I think when you pass out of the body, you go to that dimension, you look back and you see all those opportunities you're lost out because you live in fear.
Exactly. It's such a waste.
It's such a way. That's a lot of people feel that. I was talking to a lady today, it's a realtor. She came to my house, this lady, a young woman, and she has a young girl. I said, you have a little girl, don't you? She goes, yes. I said, interesting. She'll be your life lesson. She goes, what do you mean? I said, oh, she'll teach you some things. She goes, well, is that a bad thing? I said, oh, no, you can deal with it. You can deal with it. It's her daughter's a Taurus. This lady's a Cancer.
She'll have her hands full.
She's gonna have her hands. I said to her, she goes, no, you're going to learn things. It's going to learn.
Exactly.
But I just, it's so interesting when I question, and anybody can do this. I mean, when you allow yourself just to be curious and open up and have the divine sense of, I wonder about that. Or how is this person? What light are they? What color are they? What are they? How does their mind work? So interesting. I mean,
but again, it opens up so many portals. I mean, I think that really is a big message for tonight, James, is the way you're teaching everybody to think is to open up portals, open up energy spaces.
The
possibilities are there.
And don't waste your time down here. Do open up those
portals. That all the time. Don't waste your time. Yeah. Keep going.
Going. Don't waste your time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Somebody is asking, do you think that voices that schizophrenics hear can be spirit? Yes, I do. Often I do. Not all the time, but it can be, because it's right that place in the brain.
In the beginning, that's where there were a lot of mediums who were given that title, that label of schizophrenia.
Well, mentally ill, that mediums were mentally ill, all kinds of things.
I was called that when I was a young kid. I was called that when I used to be called, you're a mental person. You're going to go to you're going to live your life in a mental hospital.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
My brother used to say that.
I could just hear Michael say that. Yep. Isn't he surprised now?
Yeah, he regrets it.
It is so true.
It's so
true. But I think that people, that are more sensitive tend to be maybe more emotional, more sensitive, and they can feel things more. And it scares other people when this happens. It scares them.
It's true. It's true. Well, it's just, knowledge is power. So ignorance is fearful. Ignorance is fear. Knowledge is power. Ignorance is fear. And we got to remember that. So we have a responsibility to ourselves to grow and expand, to discover, to learn, be curious, have a curious mind. It's the only way to grow.
Always.
You can grow. And the possibilities are endless. And I talked about this past week in a course. One of the courses, I'll talk about it here. When I was with Tony Stockwell, a wonderful medium, a good friend of mine in England, and we'd go on stage and we'd do demonstration one night after another night. And it was always different with him. Like, wow, how did you get that information? And bizarre information. I'm talking really bizarre. Once he's standing on stage, he goes, I have this white and brown thing. It's in my hands. I'm like, what is he? And he milks this whole thing. He goes, and I want to pet it. I'm like, huh? And it ended up being some girl's old, I think it was just a little muskrat that she had when she was 14 years old. It was a pet. And like, how did you do that? He said, well, every time I do this, I ask the spirit world to show me something different than I've ever been shown before, to give me something in a different way than I've ever done that before. And he goes, and they will. So I've done it. And I've asked, please give me something from inside a wallet tonight. And they've done that.
Oh, so again, opening a portal up.
It's opening up a portal. It's opening up your mind to the possibilities of other things.
Well, you've taught me that with mediumship. You'll say to me, ask the spirit to give you something really unusual. And I remember once I was doing a show with you, and I said, all right, so something unusual. And a giant tarantula came to my mind. And it was a man who had a tarantula tattoo. And sure enough, I think it was the first or second person out of the gate had the tarantula tattoo. And the tarantula in their person with them. I mean, it was like, whoa. I mean, such odd things.
Isn't that great, though? I mean, talk about evidence. I mean, it's right there. I mean, evidence that comes in so many different ways. And the more open we are to receiving it in different ways, it comes in. I mean, everybody that's watching this or listening to this, use this week because the veil is so thin. Ask Spirit to give you, let them come, maybe give you a song. Maybe they can program you to your mind to maybe they want you to watch a certain program. Let them lead you to a certain television program or a movie that you've never thought about. Let them drop it suddenly in your mind. That'll happen. If you allow that to happen, it'll happen. Don't put a time on it. Don't just let that happen. Just put that possibility out there in your mind and let them work with it. It'll happen.
Yeah. Go ahead, James. That's so true. Yes, Melissa, an empath can have OCD.
My often. I can't read the comments. Sorry.
Most likely. Often they do. Empaths have everything.
Empaths, and how often do we have empaths that don't know how to handle the energy, that don't recognize what someone else's energy that they're looking at, not their own energy? So,
I'm going to be at the All Souls event November 7th, 8th, and 9th with Jen Weigel, and I'm speaking about empaths. And my plot twist on speaking about them, James, is the energy. That you have to know the energy of your energy and somebody else's. You have to know discernment. Discernment is everything.
So important. How could you know someone else's energy if you don't know your own?
Right. Oh my gosh, so important here.
I wanted to mention, Kellee, because people have been asking me for a while about Halloween. Every Halloween, I have a big sale at my school.
Oh,
so I wanted to mention that because wrote it down here. It's Halloween sale. It's called the Spirit Sale. So we do it every year. It's called the Spirit Sale.
Perfect.
And it begins tomorrow. But because of tonight, there's a chance to shop early. So it's Nordstrom preseason sale. So there's a link, and it's called, the coupon code is Spirit 30. So Spirit 30, Spirit 30. And it starts now and runs through weekend ends Monday, November 3rd. And it's really kind of an All Souls Day, Day of the Dead, like talking about. And the fact that the veil is very thin. So that's what we did in because of today's show as well. Right. So 30% off of the code Spirit 30. So 30% off everything there. All my courses at the JP School of Mystical Arts. So 30% off at the school. And check it out. I think you'll like it. And there's a great course there that I have about discernment, and it's tools for the highly sensitive.
That's what I was thinking. That's a great class.
It's great when we have discernment and recognize your own energy and foreign. I mean, once you recognize your own fields and you know what that feels like, you're referencing that. When something completely foreign comes in, you can say, "Oh, that's someone else's program, not my program."
Yes,
I'm not going to make
exactly.
But so many people don't know that, especially sensitives and empaths. They can't discern. And they start living with someone else's energy instead of their own. Right. We do it all the time, we got to be careful because we walk in a sea of thought. We walk in a sea of thought. People's thoughts are all around us. In my book, I think it was the first book I wrote, or the second. Yeah, I was talking to heaven. The Velcro suit. The Velcro suit. And when you walk, you have people's stuff sticking onto you sometimes, and you have to peel it off. It's not yours. It's theirs.
Oh, that's a very good one.
Yeah, the Velcro suit was the name of the chapter. Okay. Talking to heaven. It's a good chapter. It talks all about that.
I like that Velcro suit. I'll use that for my presentation.
If you walk in a sea of thought, it's so true. If we start thinking that way, being aware of that, where really you go into a space, you can neutralize it, you can invite it, you can change it and shift it. Yeah.
Especially nowadays, this is such an important time that we're here on Earth at this particular time. It's so important that we're going through a transition, a transformational state.
Scorpio is transformation, right, Kellee?
Yeah, it is. And a lot of planets in Scorpio this month. It's a big one.
And what does that mean then?
It means a lot of change, a lot of transformation, a lot of sensitivity, a lot of passion, a lot of energy, a lot of secrets, a lot of change for people. And we'll give everybody an opportunity to transform themselves. It's a big.
Is it also a time to look at the higher part of the potentials of themselves?
Oh, for sure.
Scorpio.
Definitely to go to the higher. Really, James, I think that's so important that you just said that. It is about being your highest self, being the best self, making great choices for yourself. Don't limit yourself.
So when you were saying that, I had a vision.
Okay.
A vision of a crow going to the highest tree. And the tree was barren because of Halloween, right? So this time of year, but it's looking down on the landscape.
And crows are the messengers. They're shapeshifters. They're messengers.
There you go.
Pay attention to crows. Actually, pay attention to all the animals right now. It's fascinating to get messages from them.
And Kellee, what do you have going on?
I have the Roots of Healing coming up on November 15th with Dr. Shirley Impellizzeri and Carrie Gonia, who will be doing family constellation, and Shirley will be doing somatic therapy and giving lots of tips. And the theme, James, is chaos. Chaos in your family. Imagine that. Imagine chaos in your family. Do you have chaos? But it's going back to, with family constellation, they look at the ancestors. So interesting enough, this period of time this Halloween is all about the ancestors.
Yeah.
All about the ancestors that are coming back to help us through this time period that we're in.
And Kellee, this is also a time period for shocking things.
Oh, yes.
Quickly, shocking, right?
Yeah.
I feel that sudden shocks.
Yeah. It does feel that way, James.
Like people just, cross over the traffic cone.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I don't pay attention to the caution of the traffic cone. How many times I rolled down my window and tell someone to stay back? It's amazing. 2 car lengths.
Yeah, right.
I in my book in August. I know 2 car lengths back.
Right.
That's strange. So anyway, well, thank you, Kellee. Happy holidays.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy Halloween, Kellee.
Happy Halloween, Mr. Cone. I love it.
Thank you,
Thank you, Miss Spider.
We'll see you around the web.
Very good.
Okay, bye, honey. Bye. Bye, everyone.